Thomas has gone through a crazy experience on his New York Education Council. Here's a quick intro, everybody. Little taste.
It hurts people when they see a white man bouncing a brown baby on their lap and they don't know the context. That is harmful. And I'm not trying to be a martyr. I'm trying to illustrate to you that you think you think I'm a social justice warrior and you think I'm being patronizing and I'm getting pressure for not being enough of an advocate. And I take that to heart and that hurts me. And I have to learn to make how to be a better white person.
I would like to know before this meeting adjourns how having my friend's nephew on my lap was hurtful to people.
So Thomas, tell us what's going on at your New York school board. Education Council. Education Council, sorry.
Yeah, Education Council. Yeah, I mean, if any of you watch that, I'm not sure what's going on. It's insanity, to be quite honest.
So what happened to Thomas is he's at, and you add any context, but the crazy story is he was at an Education Council meeting, and he's being asked to resign for having a black child in his lap on more than one occasion. And the accusation is that he was using the black baby as a prop. But it sure seems, and you're going to get to see it played out more, it sure seems that these people accusing him of racism are really using these poor black children in this situation as a prop. Take it away, Thomas.
That's absolutely correct. My friend came over, my friend of 5 years came over with her daughter, who has been best friends with my daughter for 5 years, with her nephew, who was just learning to walk. And, he sat on my lap. And, my friend went out and did things, and she asked if I could watch her nephew. Of course I would. He's a very cute kid. It makes you smile. After that, I was accused of using a black baby as a prop for some reason. I'm not sure what reason. I asked. They wouldn't tell. They said it was political propaganda for some reason, of which I'm unsure. I'm not running for office. It's astonishing to me.
Yeah. And is this a volunteer position?
It absolutely is. I mean, our council is set up by state statute. I volunteer for this. I have a job where I work 12 to 14 hours a day. I work today on our holiday. I work a lot, and I do this to help children, and it's disappointing.
So let's watch a little more so people can see. It's intense. Here we go.
May I speak, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, Tom, I can hear you.
You can? Okay, thank you. Robin, I would like to directly ask you a question. You alleged racist behavior. What exactly was that racist behavior about having my friend of 5 years over my house in my living room with her daughter, who is best friends with my daughter, and her nephew? What is racist about that?
So it's the distinction between individual acts of proximity to color does not mean you're not racist. Strom Thurmond was
about my
racist.
behavior during that meeting that you just alleged.
Tom, when you said my living room is integrated right now as a response to discussion of systematic racism, no, it wasn't. You had friends over. That's not integration. Integration is a system. Tom, I don't know what to tell you. I know that you believe that you did nothing wrong, but you have 100 people that told you. I am not calling you racist. I said that was racist behavior. Tom, I don't, you sue me. Did you read Ibram Kendi? Did you read How to Be an Anti-Racist?
That does not make me racist for not reading that book.
I'm not calling you racist. I'm saying I'm saying that was racist behavior. We are all capable of racist behavior. I am capable of racist behavior. I owned up to it in this meeting right now when I apologized to Edward for minimizing his one vote. All people are capable of racist behavior. And we should apologize when we offend people of color, when they get upset, when they say this is a harmful space, when they log out of a meeting immediately because they see white people exhibiting their power over people of color. So it's not my job to convince you. If you don't even read a book about white fragility or Ibram Kendi, I can't sit here in a working business meeting and educate you about the distinction between interpersonal racism and systemic racism.
I have no right to speak. I got it.
You had a premeditated agenda. You came to that meeting to rile it up. You started off by that. Then you had a smirk and a grin on your face when you pulled that child in. And then 3 minutes later, you in a joking tone said, "Oh yeah, my living room's integrated right now," in a joking tone, as if the hundreds of years of first slavery and then segregation were nothing and would go poof because you happen to have a black friend. It was so belittling. It was so snide. Perhaps you didn't intend it to be racist, and that does not matter. Actually, it is something for which you need to look deep inside and say, wow, I hurt a lot of people. Whether you intended to or not, you did. And honestly, you need to take a moment and a deep breath and think about what you are doing and how you are sitting on this council. I cannot imagine that if we had been in a school setting, that you would have brought some whiteboard. The fact is, there are plenty of times that we don't get to talk or respond to people in the moment. We don't have a back and forth. And the fact is, you have absolutely exploited this medium to the detriment of everyone in our community. You have made a snide remark about my own home that made me feel embarrassed in front of this council. You have made nasty remarks, brought in whiteboards, pointing out things in such an unprofessional and unsuitable tone. It's beyond. You owe this council and our members, the people who come to our meetings, an apology. Yes, you do.
Okay, let me explain why I was laughing. First of all, I was holding a baby who was playing with something. That is a normal reaction. Second of all, when I said the statement that I did, which was factually correct, that my living room was integrated at the moment. Don't roll your eyes, Emily. Don't roll your eyes. You did roll your eyes. Yeah. So I was also laughing at the absurdity of the cognitive dissonance of people like you. People exactly like you who are telling people of color how they should feel. How absurd that is. And you have a couple of people, you take anecdotal evidence, you prescribe motive to things that you have no idea about, and then you demand an apology because you were offended, because that's how you felt. You have no idea what it means to be a person of color. You have no idea. I have no idea either how it feels. My friends do. My friends were insulted by your actions. They're continuously insulted by your actions. They're continuously insulted by people who send their kids to screen schools who are trying to get rid of screen schools. They're aware of the cognitive dissonance of your behavior. And I'm not finished because you went on and on and on and insulted me and slandered me, as well did Robin, on paper, in social media, supported letters that were factually incorrect. And I did not get any sleep for weeks after being accused as being a racist for having my friend in my living room with her daughter, who has been my friend's daughter for several years, and her nephew, who is learning how to walk. So take a look at yourself. You owe me an apology, and you owe my friend an apology. Yeah, you can't believe it, can you?
No, I can't, and you will never get an apology from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wow. What else can we say? Now, you're lucky, man, because you got this on video. You know, I think you're really lucky. I think you did a really good job defending yourself. But I mean, what else do you have to say? Can you say about this?
I mean, these are correction education counselors. These are people that want to destroy schools. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, it speaks for itself. I'm there to support kids, every kid, to get the best education that they can. And they bring this nonsense into it for their own benefit. It has nothing to do with kids. They want to be the first person on the front parade or float on the parade, and they don't care about kids. And I was elected to support every kid, and that's why I'm there. I don't know what else to say. It speaks for itself.
Yeah. You know what? Let's take a little. It does. So I'm actually curious, about what's actually going on in the school system. Why don't we take a little time now to discuss that, even though you should be discussing that obviously with the Education Council. So what's going on? What should they be talking about? What should we be talking about instead of accusing people of racism, for nothing?
The best way for every kid to get the best education that they deserve. I mean, they talk about integration, which is important, but they just want to start it at high school level with a few select schools. I'm for integration. You start it at elementary school. You make sure every kid has the resources they need to succeed before there's an achievement gap. But they don't care about that. They don't. It's unfortunate. Their words do not reflect their actions. So what you do, you concentrate on education and, starting at a lower level and continuing, but starting on a lower level, making sure that every kid has the resources that they need. They won't do that.
Well, Tom, can I show one more video? And just so people, this usually doesn't exist in such a cartoonish way. That's obviously by far the worst form of this. But some other people on the council and far beyond the council, they have this notion that racism, that everything somebody does, may just be racist. Any interaction between a white person and a black person that I don't know what they expect. I mean, they believe that just every white person, including themselves, is just automatically racist no matter what they do, and their actions are racist, even if they're just a racist. Period. So
I have to interrupt. It's not just white people. It's anybody that disagrees with them, regardless of their race or ethnic background. You could be Asian, especially Asian. You could be black and disagree with them, but disagree with them, you are racist. Mm-hmm. That is how it works now at the New York City Department of Education. And the fish rots from the head. It starts with the chancellor, and it just trickles down, and everybody spreads that word.
Tell me, so it is upsetting. Give us some examples. I heard you talk with Benjamin Boyce about some examples of, how this plays itself out in policy.
Well, I mean, in policy, what they're attacking right now is the best schools in New York City. There's 8 schools that take the specialized high school admission test, and they're trying to get rid of that because it produces disproportionate results, which it does. That is correct. There are very few Black and Latinx kids who get into our best schools. But instead of attacking the problem, instead of trying to figure out how we could better educate people, they just want to remove the test. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense. They don't want to educate kids. They just want kids placed for their own political benefit. So that's a good example. It's the best example of how they're doing nothing to help people they say that they want to help.
And hey,
they want to eliminate those. In the Bronx, in Brooklyn, they want to get rid of those. They're a gifted kid.
You cut out for a second. What are they trying to get rid of?
Gifted and talented programs. There are many gifted and talented kids in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. Those kids right now go to charter schools. They want to eliminate those too. Why? Because it's unfair for some reason. I don't know why. They can't explain it. They exclude kids based on behavior, which they do. If they wanted to improve that, I would agree with them. But they don't want to do that. They want to destroy. They want to destroy everything for equality. Or actually, not even for equality, for equity. That's their new word, equity.
Now, I like all these charter schools, not charter schools, standardized testing, no standardized testing. These are all fair, things to dispute. But what is not fair is to, be taking up all this time and attacking, people's character trying to destroy people based on nothing.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. They could waste their time on that. I'm going to move forward. I don't care.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, care about kids. And that's why I'm on that council. All of their nonsense, it hurts, I guess. I mean, there's many people that attack me on Twitter for supporting kids, but not in the way that they want, because they read a book, I guess, that says that they shouldn't support me for my skin color, which is fine, and that's okay. I mean, bottom line, you have to help the kids that need help, right? And they're willing to do that. They're unwilling. And by the way, all of these people send their kids to the most elite schools in the city, and they prepare their kids for those schools. It's a cognitive dissonance, which is insane.
Now, you say, we need to help kids, let's prioritize helping kids that need help. And so who are the kids that they think need help? How do they determine who needs help versus how, you think we should determine how kids need help?
I mean, it's pretty much the same kids, right? I mean, it's kids in poor neighborhoods in the Bronx, Brooklyn, I did Queens, anywhere, unless they're Asian, because if they're Asian, then they apparently don't need help for some reason. I mean, these are the poorest kids in the city, but they don't need help because they're Asian. We agree with the same kids that need help. I think it's just a method of helping them. And I think that we should actually go there and help the kids. But they refuse to do that from their Manhattan condos, from their, screened private schools. They don't care. They just want recognition.
What's the rationale for excluding Asians? What's their rationale for,
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So it's not really a rationale. It's more like, so the best schools, Asian kids happen to dominate by several reasons, but they care about education. And, Stuyvesant, for instance, which is our best high school in New York City, or most prominent high school in New York City, has about 70% Asian students. And, Chinese, Bangladeshi, all of Asia, it's a big continent.
Yeah.
Right. But, 7%, and, that is disproportionate with the city population. And very few Black and Latinx kids get into that school. So, they're against the Asian kids because they think they have an unfair advantage. Now, the unfair advantage I'm unsure about, because Asians are the poorest demographic in New York City. So it's not about income, but if disproportionate results are there, they think things should be ended. They don't think about how to solve that problem, how to bring resources to the places that are not producing students that can get in. They just want to just end the test. I don't understand it. It's about education. It's not about results. It's about education.
Do you think it's fair to say, they're unfounded character attacks and smears against you? It's just because they disagree with you, or at least partly. Well, maybe not because they disagree with you on policy.
It's funny because I agree with them on so many things. It's like the narcissism of small differences, right? So, I mean, I agree that certain screening is bad, like absences and latenesses, which is one of the 3 prongs of screening in New York. I agree that that should be eliminated. If grades are unfair because they're different across schools, I agree that maybe class rank would be better. They want to eliminate all tests. I'm definitely not for that. I think it's a diagnostic measure that helps place students. And we have large class sizes, right? We have 33 kids in a classroom. And if you have a large spread of abilities throughout a classroom, the teacher doesn't have that contact. So again, I'm against that. But I agree with most of it. But since I agree with a very small amount, I'm evil, apparently. I'm the bad guy. So I don't know what to say. They speak for themselves very well, I should say. Their incoherent babble speaks for itself.
I'm going to play one more clip.
This just illustrates to me the need for anti-racism training, because some of you definitely, including myself, actually, I would say all of us, don't have the language to really talk about this in a way that's constructive and productive and growth-oriented. And I have done my own work, and some of you have done work with the CEC. Marisol hosted Courageous Conversations, and some of you attended. Clearly, we need more of it. I don't see you doing the work. That's just how I see things. You can say racism is wrong, we'll denounce it, but the bottom line is how you act. And your action has not shown to me that you understand what racism is at the structural and institutional level, which is fine because I don't claim to understand it. I'm still learning. I read a lot. Vincent, there is no way around it. You have to read. If you're not willing to read, then you're not doing the work. And this is work we all have to do. And you can disagree with people, but this is not an ideological difference. This is how Black and Indigenous people of color see the world. And it's not for you and me, East Asian affluent person, to deny that reality. And we have to get on board. We have to understand what these people are telling us. We have to do the work. We have to get uncomfortable. But I don't see some of you willing to do that uncomfortable work.
So that was a woman talking about how, the answer, what we need more of and what you need more of, what the council needs more of is training. So what is she talking about there?
Yeah, no, that's great. Apparently the answer is reading a book that they read or anti-racial training. Okay. I hang out with friends that I like who are more often than not people of color. My daughter's friends are always like people of color, and white people too. It doesn't really matter, or to me. We judge people on their character, but that doesn't matter to them because we haven't taken a training class and we haven't read a book. Until we read that and until we believe exactly what they believe and get in line, they will not talk to us. I've reached out to them on several occasions. I reached out to the authors of the books that they told me to read. I had no response. Deputy Chancellor, reached out to her after she accused me of racism. No response. Same with the superintendent of Manhattan. Absolutely no response. They will not talk to us until we read their books and think like they do. If we repeat what they say, they may talk to us, or they would just say what we say is racist because of our skin color. It's not the world that I want to live in. It's insane. So I don't know what to say about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that should be an issue. I don't think everyone should have to read the same, books when they're not, unless it's a book on, education. Perhaps, I don't know. But I don't know this. Yeah, it does sound nuts to me. I don't think people should be. This shouldn't be such a priority to spending time on anti-racism training when I think don't be racist, treat everyone with respect regardless of the color of your skin. I think that's enough. I mean, that's pretty. What more training do you need than that? To me,
so even if you read a book that I didn't read, and I asked you how my behavior impacts society the way you read your book, maybe you could explain that to me, right? But they refuse to do that. They say, no, you have to read the book. No, you have to do this. It's a dogma at its worst. I don't know this is public education. We have a First Amendment rights of freedom of speech, freedom of religion. It seems like a cult. And it's cultish behavior. And I don't know what to say. I mean, you get in line, or if not, you can't speak. How is that America?
Yeah. And, for the people just joining, so speaking with Tom on the Education Council in New York City, and because he hosted a meeting in which this integration is an issue, and so he made a comment that his living room was integrated at that moment, and because he had a black child in his lap who belongs to a friend, people saw that
friend's nephew,
thanks, who considered that a racist act, and are trying to get him fired from his job and to screw him out of this volunteer position to try and help education.
From life, because I had my friend over with her daughter and her nephew. I've been friends with her for 5 years. My daughter has been best friends with her for 5 years, and her nephew is learning to walk. And that is grounds for cancellation in the cancel culture. I would like to cancel the cancel culture because it's nonsense.
Mm-hmm. It's the weird thing is, like, if you start a war based on lies, killing 500,000 people, that's not, you don't get canceled for that.
Yeah, of course. It depends what you're thinking and how you feel, apparently.
Yeah. Well, Tom, like I said at the beginning, I think, obviously the people doing this to you, they're the real hateful people. They've got some.
I have to tell you, they probably do mean well. They probably do. But they're brainwashed in a certain sense. They don't know how to connect their own words to their own actions. And, I don't like to pity anybody, but I pity them for not owning themselves and actually doing what they say they want to do.
No, I don't think they, maybe you're right. And I do like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but it seems, and I have no doubt, they don't think they're being hateful towards you. They think they're calling you out for being hateful.
Right.
But the rage that they exhibit, it's certainly rage, and it sounds hateful. And the reason I think they do hate people like you is because you just don't go along with everything they believe. I mean, that's
yeah. Unfortunately, the facts don't agree with their beliefs. So when you state facts, they tend to get angry. The facts about where they send their kids to school, they get very angry about that. They get very angry about facts. And that's when you know that these people have no clue and you should not listen to them. When you disagree with facts and you have no support for them, do not listen to those people.
And I mean, other than, you know, them not being able to explain, they couldn't explain, like, people, if you go back and watch the video, they couldn't explain how anything you did was racist, and yet given every opportunity, they couldn't explain how or why it was racist, and yet they are trying to get you fired. But let me see. Hold on, I did have one. Oh yeah. And you mentioned they have issues with facts, and that's something that really sets them off. They did, and they don't, because they don't accept facts. What are some examples of facts that they don't accept?
Okay, well, I'll give you a great example, because I had a whiteboard in back of me, and I actually painted my wall in whiteboard paint. And they supported a resolution to end screening. So I wrote on my whiteboard, which is factually correct, that all of the co-sponsors of the resolution to end screening sent their kids to screen schools. So the people who sponsored something to end something sent their kids to those schools, the whitest schools in the city.
You have made a snide remark about my own home that made me feel embarrassed in front of this council. You have made nasty remarks, brought in whiteboards, pointing out things in a such an unprofessional and unsuitable tone. It's beyond.
Can you just explain what screen schools are? Yeah,
it's basically applying for admission. So in New York City, like say colleges, things like that. You have to apply for middle school and high school. And it's based off of a few factors: grades, test scores, and absences/latenesses. So I'm in favor of putting kids where they could get the best education that they can. And that's what screening does. We can improve screening. I've tried to work with them, but they don't listen to me, of course, because I'm me. So they wanted to just end all screening, get rid of tests, get rid of grades, get rid of everything. Just make it random, except for their kids, because their kids are already there, right? Mm-hmm. They will not be impacted by their experiment. Neither would the school chancellor, neither would the mayor, who all sent their kids to screen schools, the best schools in the city. That's where these kids that's where these parents send their kids. But it should be ended for everybody else, because they think it's more fair now that their kids have gone through the process and benefited from it.
Certainly, that's some serious hypocrisy right there. And another bit of irony that everyone, I don't think you could help notice is, they're arguing like kindergartners, and they're overseeing the education council, or they're part of an education council. I mean, it's, all right, Tom, you got any last comments?
No, I just thank you for having me. I think it's important that people focus on these issues, because if nobody speaks up, they will just steamroll education. They will destroy it for their own personal benefit, not for kids. So I encourage you to speak up. I encourage you to support everything. And I thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Tom. I'll let you go.
You're welcome.
Peace.